How many times have you, within the spiritual community, heard a lot of people talking about negative energy? I'm pretty sure you've heard it at least 10 times this week. Um, I want to discuss the importance of understanding what we're actually addressing when we talk about these things. Because I feel like calling somebody negative or saying that you don't want to associate with negative energy or having some kind of pompous outlook like that puts you in negative energy. Does that make sense? Okay. What I think we're trying to address and we don't realize it is toxic energy, toxicity. And we're calling it negativity. Because, and this might be a hard pill to swallow for some people if you're not ready to hear this, some of you will totally understand what I'm saying. And for those of you who know me long enough, you know I've spoken on this before. Everybody has negativity. If we just look at it energetically first, right? There is negative energy and positive energy in everything. Okay? Going further, we all experience negative emotions. We all actually experience lower frequencies. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're in a lower place, as in like a toxic place or an unhealthy place. It just means that we may be tired one day, or we may need to rest. Our lower chakras, for instance, like your root chakra vibrates at the lowest frequency, but does that mean your root chakra is an evil chakra? No. Does that mean that you should just completely neglect your root chakra space and your entire reproductive organs because they vibrate at a lower frequency? No. We need to really start thinking about the words we're using, because your words really do in fact create your reality in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of other factors that go with that, obviously. But your words and how you understand them and how you use them, it's really important. Okay? So when you're throwing things around like that, saying, oh, that person's so negative, or, oh, I don't associate with negative energy, you're lying. Okay? Because you too have negativity. Okay? Now, honoring your negativity and actually going within it, transmuting it, working with that energy, understanding that it can also be a place of creativity just as much as positive energy. Okay? That's where you can prevent yourself from slipping into a place of toxicity. Because negative doesn't always mean bad, just as positive doesn't always mean all good. Okay? You can have toxic negative energy, and you can also have toxic positivity. Okay? So like a toxic negative energy would be someone who represses their anger rather than expresses it. Okay? If you're not expressing how you feel because you think, oh, that's making me negative and that's blocking my blessings, guess what's blocking your blessings? Not actually expressing how you feel. Not actually expressing how you feel and going to the root of what caused it is blocking your blessings. Because you're the blessing in motion. You are the blessing creator and receiver and doer and all that stuff. Like, you can't be open to the blessings of God and the universe if you're running from yourself. Because if you're running from yourself, you're probably running from everything else and everyone else. You're putting on this front, right? You're already deeming one emotion as good and one emotion as bad, one emotion as rewardable and the other one as punishable. You're not even processing them. You're not even admitting honestly why you feel them. You're not growing through them. So you're blocking yourself. Now, I'm not saying to wallow in that feeling forever or use that feeling as an excuse to, let's say, not do anything or to not move forward and to not grow, because then that's how it turns into toxic negativity. That anger can become limiting. It can become mistrusting. You can start to block yourself from everyone and everything because you're so pissed off that now you don't trust anything. And you start externalizing it and projecting it on the world. When really you need to look within and start working on that anger. Because anger is technically, especially, now we're mentioning it, anger is secondary. Anger is a defensive emotion. It comes up when you're feeling something else that you deem as an unsafe thing to feel. And so the anger comes up to defend you. So when you get angry, you should start sitting with that anger and being like, okay, what am I actually feeling vulnerable about? What am I afraid of? What do I think I'm defending by putting this anger up and projecting it the way I am? When did this anger start? What triggered it? What was happening that day? Who did I interact with? Like, really start using your mind to assess rather than repress or project. Okay? Because then that's how that negative energy, which is not bad, but that negative energy is used in a way that's destructive rather than creative. Okay? And then it becomes toxic when you don't actually use it for the greater good. Now, on the opposite spectrum, toxic positive energy is, me and my husband were making a joke about this last night, but I'll talk about it in a more grounded way because we were cracking up about this last night. Toxic positive energy and the use of it is, how do I put this? Like someone who is forcing themselves to feel a way they don't feel. I can't stress this enough. I've been speaking on this for years. You can't force yourself to feel an emotion you don't feel yet. That is insane. Okay? If you are sad about something, you shouldn't be like, well, I just have to think better. Yeah, that's not going to work. I can tell you that right now. And it's okay. This is not me being a Debbie Downer by saying that. It's just a fact. There are chemicals involved in your brain and in your body that produce those emotions, that facilitate that movement. Okay? So it's insane to try to force that flow for you to feel something you don't feel. To force yourself to just be happy when you don't feel happy is unhealthy. Because what you do is you start, when you do the whole, oh, I'm fine, everything is fine, when it's not, you start training your brain to just think it's fine to feel crappy. Or you train your brain to think it's not fine to feel crappy sometimes. So either way, you don't feel truly happy, but you're trying to force yourself to feel that way. Okay? Toxic positive is when we force people to be all love and light, but we're not really doing anything to help them. When we tell people like, oh, you're just not in the right vibration. Well, how do you get them there? How did you do that? Help them. That's toxic positive. You're not really offering anybody anything of substance and value to get them through what they're going through. When you're just telling them like, oh, well, you're just not thinking right. Well, clearly, what would you advise? Forcing people to feel like they have to think a certain way or that they're doing something wrong by feeling a way that's not in alignment with how you want them to feel is toxic positive. Because you probably are afraid of that emotion too, and you might be running from it. How you actually get to happiness is by observing your sadness. Not sitting in it, not being consumed by it, but observing it. When did it start? Your sadness is telling you you're not happy with something. But your sadness can also show you what would make you happy, because there is a positive in your negative. They go hand in hand. They're energetic frequencies, polarities. So you can't have one without the other. And if you let them work in harmony with one another, rather than deem one as rewardable and one as punishable, you'll see that they're interchangeable. You'll see that they're cyclical. You're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to have lows and highs. And you can learn from both. when you're up on top and you're feeling really good, still learn from that. Still ask yourself, okay, what am I doing right now? And don't get obsessively over analytical about it, obviously. Just really observe, be like, okay, what am I doing right now that is contributing to this happiness? So this way I know for future reference, check out the patterns in your happiness too, so you know what to do and what not to do for yourself. Okay? But when you're having those lows, know that there is a positive in that negative too, that your negative emotion is sending you a signal. It's letting you know when you're off balance, when you're tired, exhausted, when you need to pull back, maybe. Does that make sense? So like when you're sad, ask the sadness, what do you need? And once you start asking that sadness, what do I actually need? What do I want? That's where you reach the positive in it. Because the sadness is trying to tell you it needs something. It's feeling neglected. It's feeling hungry. It's feeling unheard. And the moment you start giving it space, holding space for it, rather than being like, oh, I'm blocking my blessings, or oh, I'm too negative, or oh, that is some new age poison that you need to just get out of your head right now. Jesus had bad moments too. Okay? There's even they're in the Gospels, it's Mark. I think it was Mark. No, it was one of the apostles. It might have been Mark. I'm having a brain fart, but I do recall it's in Mark, where they call Jesus good. And even Jesus himself, and this is Jesus Christ, said to him, who are you to say that I'm good? Why do you think I'm good? It is only God who is truly good, 100% good, balanced. So even Jesus knew he wasn't perfect, that he had ups and downs. Now's the balance of being human, of being in this dimension. Jesus still did good things. Jesus still made good friends, had beautiful experiences with people, but he also had some not good ones. And he found his wisdom in those not good times by observing the negative rather than being like, oh, well, I'm Jesus, I can't be negative. Don't do that to yourself. Don't let it turn toxic, though. Okay? Don't do these things to yourself. Don't give in to a lot of this new age poison that's telling you to raise your vibration and, using a crystal is going to make everything better and all that stuff. Those are tools, yes. But you choose to make things better. You choose. And that starts and continues with you by actually going within here, and in your soul. Okay? That's where the true power and empowerment comes from. Okay? Yes, there are tools you can use. Absolutely. I love utilizing crystals. I love utilizing energy work. I love utilizing my cards. I love using herbs and supplements and things like that. But let me tell you something. None of those things will work for you until you also do the work. Okay? None of those that you can't externalize your happiness. You have to internalize it. And that starts by stopping this whole punishment reward mentality that's placed on you. And it's in the new age community too. That if you're not manifesting properly, there's something wrong with you. Okay? If you're not thinking positive, there's something wrong with you. And a whole mess of other things I could get into. I'm not going to get into them right now. And the thing is, there's nothing really wrong with you. You live in an imbalanced world. There's a lot of imbalance out there. But that doesn't mean you can't overcome it. that doesn't mean you don't have the power to overcome it. It's not all hopeless. That's where things get toxic. Okay? Is when you start either thinking everything is hopeless, or you start going into the other spectrum where you think you're just better than other people because you're just a high vibrational being, or you're a highly sensitive person, so that makes you better than other people, and that's why you can't handle certain things. No, you live here. You are in this dimension. You have to learn how to hone all that in. And you have to learn how to overcome and grow stronger, truly strong, not repressing and not projecting an image. Okay? Your brain is so strong. Your heart is so powerful. Your soul is so medicinal. You have all of this potential. Tap into that. Don't run from it. Don't excuse it. Don't punish it. Just because you have potential and just because you're powerful doesn't mean you're perfect. Okay? I hope this makes sense, and I hope it found whoever needed it today. Just know wherever you are on that spectrum today, that it's natural and you can use that energy creatively. Okay? And if you need help with that, let's talk about it. Okay, comment below. You can email me at jpspiritualfitness@gmail.com to keep the conversation going. I'll also put a link to my Facebook and my Instagram if you want to message me personally on those platforms. Let's talk about it if you need help. But don't do this tug of war with yourself anymore. Okay? Bye.